Okay, so friends, a very, very, very good evening and thanks for being here. Yeah, I am Dr. Rajiv Naidu and the one who's going to lead the webinar today. So let me share. So how is this going to be? I'm going to talk about certain things. I'm going to show you some slides. I'm going to share some cases, how it happens, and what is actually happening, and what is the kind of work that is being done, and also the kind of impact it has on people, and how you can have an opportunity to learn this. Yeah, for all those interested, and I really recommend it very highly. Yeah, not just because it's my course, because there are some people I can see who have done the course, and I would request if there's someone who would like to talk about this so that people know the effect of it. Yeah, I would request you to, at some point when I ask you, you can just open up your mics and talk. Yeah, so and just talk about the benefits. And this is one therapy which I've figured out for myself in my own healing process. And this is exactly what I share with people when they come to my clinic with my, I don't call them patients. Yeah, I call them clients. So because for me, patients are sick and clients are seeking services. And for each one of you are just clients, not sick. Yeah, because the intention that we have creates the future. Are we together? The intention that we have creates the future. So have a very healthy intention. So that is what I'm looking at. So this is where I'm starting, and we'll be having small practices. At the same time, let me also inform you that at no point in time I'm going to do any healing work today, because we are just introducing. Yeah, but there are people who, even after attending this webinar, have found it very beneficial, and some of them have called back and said that we had issues, and after this session it just started resolving on its own. So this is my experience. So it can happen. Yeah, so I am also going to give you a glimpse of what I'm doing in the workshop, and if you're picking it up, you use that, you practice it, great. You don't get it, you're welcome for the workshop or to heal yourself. So there could be questions like, which is coming on the group, like, can you heal this and can you heal this? I can tell you it can heal anything. This is my experience. Yes, what we need is patience from the person, and we also need time, because different diseases have different time period to heal itself. Yeah. So, but at the same time, I've seen so many of them, especially with anxiety disorders, depression, and even with severe pains just vanishing off in 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Severe pains, I'm talking about severe pains. And some of them have not come back. The pains have just not come back. So that is my experience. Yeah. And if there's someone who's there over here who would like to share at some point, I would request you to do that, and there'll be a time. Yeah. So let's move ahead. Let me share the screen. Okay. So the secret to healing any disease. Yeah, this is and here, like, learn to treat the stubborn, incurable diseases, understand the science and root cause of disease, find freedom from any disease. And that's exactly my intention, is to provide to people a kind of a tool, a technique, a process which can help people heal many, if I won't say all, because sometimes we don't have so much time to heal everything, but I'm quite sure it will be able to, once a person understands this. Yeah. Okay. So thanks a lot, everyone, for being here. Yeah. And this is me doing certain workshops online. Now it's all online. I conduct more online workshops. Yeah. And I'm a homeopathic physician, a new life educator, and I am an integrative wellness therapist. That is what I say, that there is a lot of integration of various therapies, counseling, modalities, and all that, which has come together, and that is what is very, very helpful. So I keep myself very flexible when I'm dealing with my clients, and that is what has given me the kind of results that I am getting. And of course, there are a lot of students who are using this across the world, and they have been getting the kind of results also, very good results. I am a relationship wellness counselor. Lot of cases of relationship issues, they come to me almost every day. Drug addicts and substance abuse and relationship problems, psychological disorders. So psychological disorders like anxiety, depression, bipolar, and all those things are almost 60 to 70% of my practice. And of course, I am a counselor and a health psychologist. And so for those who wish to evolve at every point, so these are some of the modalities that I have figured out and I share. One is core somatic integration therapy. I'm going to talk more about that today. It is all about understanding that therapy. This is what I've discovered for myself to heal myself. I'm sharing about how things have changed for me after I started practicing this. And I'm coming up with something called accelerated cures. This is the reason I call it, because it's very fast the way things are moving in therapy. Like it keeps surprising me also. Okay, how can changes happen for any person so fast? So this is why I call it the accelerated cures. Then of course, people who have learned moving stillness. This is mindfulness in movement. It is the mindfulness that actually transforms any state that you are in to a healthy state. Moving stillness. I am a Tai Chi and Qigong practitioner, and I train people in Tai Chi and Qigong. I've been practicing Tai Chi and Qigong for the last 22 years, and I share that also. So I brought this together in the therapeutic modality also. That is where it is being very helpful. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, a past life regression therapist, transactional analysis trainer, and neuro-linguistic programming trainer and practitioner. And I have various other workshops on money, creative visualization, happy relationships, which I keep sharing with people. Yeah. So now, these are some of the workshops, like the number of workshops, at least 250 workshops till date I have done, and at least 700 free seminars and webinars, trained more than 1,000 individuals in various formats, and to apply these therapies. And of course, a lot of people across corporates and general public that I've trained for the last so many years. And secret to healing any disease, introductory webinar. So if you have any questions, friends, please put it on the chat. Yeah, I will be answering all of them by the end of this. Yeah. And so what we are going to learn over here is 6-step technique to heal any disease, and initiating cellular healing in minutes. And this is what happens. There are times when I have seen, this is what is very surprising, even sometimes within 10 minutes, the session gets over. Though we are talking and suddenly the person says, I just feel so resolved. And then it's like a rock rolling down the mountain. It keeps happening, it keeps happening, it keeps going down, means it just keeps healing on its own. And that is where it is so simple yet very powerfully transforming, and sometimes it's in minutes. The 4 steps to reverse programming to natural immunity and health, yeah, and prevent incurable diseases. Why there's a question mark? Because I believe that there's nothing called incurable except what is there in the books and what Western science believes in. Yeah, what is there in the books and what Western science believes in. So, and they have limitations because the principle on which the whole healing or treatment is there, it is based on a principle where it is about attacking the disease. But here we are not just dealing with the disease, we are raising the capacity, the immunity of the person, of the individual. Once the immunity is high, the body can fight the disease on its own, right? Yeah. So I would request people to be with it, because by the end of it, a lot of your questions will keep getting answered. You can keep putting it. Yeah. And it's a scientific, rapid, and effective therapeutic modality. So very quickly going through this, and you will also have an opportunity for people who get interested. Join the workshop, which is happening on 8th and I think 9th and 10th. That is next Saturday and Sunday from 3 to 8 p.m. Yeah. So I am stating this right in the beginning, because it should not land as I gave the whole seminar to have you in the workshop. And yes, that's the reason I am also doing this webinar, because I want people to learn about this. People who are interested, learn it. And I can tell you, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity where you'll actually learn healing yourself for lifetime. And this is one of the most unique features of the program, that you learn it once and you will never ever forget it. Like, there are people who have been practicing this work, even what I had taught them 10 years back, and they say every day we practice it, and it just needs 5 to 10 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes to practice. So that is the kind of work that is happening. Very simple, very unique, very deep, very profound, very effective. So we are going to learn over here what is disease, the role of the trauma in disease, and what is the secret to heal any disease, right? So you can keep sharing on the group, on the chat. How long does a human being live on an average? What we know is that anything between 60 to 80 and even longer. Yeah, but let's take an average of 60 to 70 years. Now, how does this happen, that a human being can live up to that age, that long? Because there is this healing system within us. There is a healing system within us that manages. Like, remember one thing, we are into a process of degeneration and regeneration. When the regeneration, when you can generate yourself, the cells can generate itself. More than the degeneration, that means the breaking down that is happening, you are going to remain healthy and live longer. When the degeneration is higher, that is when diseases starts coming in, or you start getting diseases. So what we are learning over here is to develop or raise the regenerating capacity or the healing capacity of the body. And that is possible by any human being. Yeah. And this is one process, I would call it a process, that very uniquely helps you understand yourself, not just to heal, but also make the changes that are required in your day-to-day life, in your lifestyle. So we hear about people doing lifestyle coaching, lifestyle management. This is, I found, one of the easiest, because you are getting within yourself and your body knows exactly what is required. And this healing system is an innate. You're born with it. It is an autonomous. It works on its own. It has its own intelligence, and it's always in integrity. It is always in integrity. You do something, the way you're thinking and all that, it falls in place according to you. Have a not so great kind of thinking, not healthy thinking, it follows that. But it's always in integrity. It restores order and balance to help you reclaim your natural state of health. And this is about our healing system, which is autonomous, innate, and in integrity. It is automatic. All we got to do is connect to it such that you are able to tap into that healing system. And that is what you're learning in this workshop. So let's move ahead. So we know some facts. Let's know about these facts. Yeah. The facts are that even if your bone is broken anywhere, the body can heal itself. The bones get healed itself. Yes, they come together. Now, if they don't come together, they might malunite, but they do unite automatically. Yes, the plaster is required so that they can be put in place. But there is a healing mechanism in place. Be it the skin, you get a cut, the same thing happens. You have a deep injury, muscle or whatever, it heals on its own. We need medicines to avoid the bacterial infection and other infections. Otherwise, right from childhood, we have had bruises while playing, falling down, hurting, cycling, football, cricket, and all those things, or getting beaten up and all. But it automatically heals itself. And that is because of the healing system in place. And each of us have this extraordinary gift that the body knows how to heal itself. The body just knows how to heal itself. Healing capacity slows down with age? No. We don't raise it to a level where it can work efficiently. It is up to us. Because there are people at the age of 20 also very sick because they have unhealthy habits. Dr. Brownstein, this is in one of the books that I read. I don't remember the name of this. So there's this Dr. Brownstein who has a client whose rib was removed 25 years back to access the lung because there was some infection. And since they couldn't connect to that, they had to remove that rib. And what he saw 25 years later, when the person got the X-ray done, he saw that 25 years back, the X-ray showed that the rib was not there. But 25 years later, when he meets Dr. Brownstein, there is a rib that has grown on its own right from the beginning of the chest, the front part to the back part. Though not in that same solid natural rib form, but there is a rib. And he's kept that X-ray in his clinic. We also know about animals like salamanders, lizards, they have a tendency to grow, regrow their organs. Yeah. So we know that it is there in nature, and nature is already indicating that there is a capacity, and we also have it. And we are using this capacity itself. So very quickly, I want you all to just close your eyes for a moment and just relax for a moment. Yeah, so that you go inside a bit. As I said, I'm going to show you small practices. Yeah? And this is exactly how the workshops also go. They are slowly built up. So just pay attention to your breath and pay attention to the breath at the nostrils and just feel your breath going in. You're not trying to breathe hard. No efforts, just observing. There is this whole process called witness sensing. You are just sensing you're just witnessing what's happening. And that is where the transformation occurs, the disease starts getting healed. Just observe the breathing. And just notice, and at some points, there might be a possibility that you might just lose connection with your own self and you might get carried away by thoughts. You might get carried away by memories. You may have starting to have memories. That's perfectly okay. Just go ahead and simply bring yourself back, your attention back to your nostrils. Yes, come back. Yeah, and just observe how you're feeling. Yeah, you can just type in how you're feeling. This is where we start sensing what's happening. And it's only in sensing, as you will go ahead, you will start learning how just in sensing the whole healing happens. Yes. So similar, this is exactly, you just feel fresh, relaxed, calm. And when you are fresh and relaxed and calm, your healing capacities come up. So it's got nothing to do with your age. Yeah, there are people even at the age of 90, 95, they are just healed and they're so energetic and they're so disease free. Yeah, yeah. And these are all notions. Let me tell you, friends, these are all notions that have been created deliberately in your own mind. These are notions that have been created in your minds so that you'll be amazed to know this, so that you fall sick. Because when you fall sick, someone makes money. Do you agree to this? When you fall sick, someone makes money. And I'm not talking about doctors, by the way. Let me tell you, doctors are doing a brilliant job. If you actually start knowing the lives of doctors, you'll actually feel so overwhelmed. You'll actually start, the kind of gratitude you have, it will only grow because they're completely dedicated. It's not about doctors. Yeah. So doctors are always very, very dedicated. Yeah. So, and that's why you're bombarded with ideas that at the age of 40, you should get arthritis. After 35, you should get diabetes. You have to be careful. You have to get yourself tested every month or every year. Come on. Your parents have it, so you will have it. You're just bombarded with that idea so that you grow on that idea. And we all know the law of attraction, that whatever you grow on, you have in your mind, slowly and steadily, the body recreates that and makes you that. So be careful. Yeah. Don't get scared, but be careful, but don't get scared. Pharmaceutical companies, yes, very true. Okay. Disease. What is a disease? A disease is nothing else but dis-ease. We know this. Means anything out of ease. So let's make it very simple, friends. So even if you're sitting on a chair and you're not feeling comfortable, I would put it as dis-ease. Now that's the simplest way of looking. Now you move it up to having cold, migraines, cancers, psychological issues, you're restless, you're anxious, you're worried. That's all falling in the category of a dis-ease. Now, I'm going very quick because let's go to the deeper parts of it, the more important parts of it. Let's understand trauma. What is trauma according to you? Yes, friends. What is trauma according to you? Yeah, please keep sharing. Bad situation, bad memory, okay. Experience, okay. Discomfort, yeah. Fatima, PSIN, I didn't get that, Fatima. Pain, okay. I got that. Shock, stress, shock. Stress your body goes through, good, bad incident, okay. By the way, most of us believe bad incident, bad things happening to us, and all these are trauma. These are not trauma. Yeah, someone has written shock. Yeah, Rajni Savlani, yes. Sunila, yes. Stress your body goes through. Urge to take to revenge. That is the reaction. Yeah, that is the reaction. So shock. When we talk about shock, so here the situation that has significant impact on us. Yes, Shankar. Yeah, very good. So it is. So let's understand trauma. And once you understand trauma, this is where my whole life started having a new turn. My whole practice started having a new turn when I started understanding trauma very well. Generally, we put it as bad incident, bad thought, bad things happening to us. That is not traumatic. Trauma is when you are confronted by an event, or you are under threat, where you are just unable to do anything and it has a very large impact on you. Like someone wrote shock. Yeah, it has a large impact on you. Yeah, and it's like a crisis. So trauma is a situation of crisis where you feel very helpless and hopeless. It's like you are at gunpoint, or you are at knife point, or you're a small child being beaten up by someone elderly and the child just cannot do anything about it. That is really traumatic, and that's why we carry so much of it in our child, in ourselves, like what happened in childhood. Yeah, for many of us, rapes, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, being put in some dark room and locked up there. Like I still remember one incident where the child was put in a dark room, and in a small dark dingy room, and the child, when got in, was trapped in, saw that the whole room was filled with cockroaches. It was a small storeroom kind of thing, and that can be traumatic. Yeah, and that can have a lifelong impact. So that is what it is. Now, so let's understand this. So whenever there's a situation when the person cannot, it's threatening or it is stressful, we all react in three ways. One is called fight and flight and freeze. Now there are many of them, fawn and all that. We'll talk about these three. Fight, flight means in any kind of stressful situation, either you fight or you run away. Now remember, they are not bad or wrong. They are natural, instinctive reactions to that situation. But there is also a third one, when you cannot fight or you cannot run away, and that is you go into a freeze. And when it is getting frozen, the energies that are created, the chemicals that are being released, they get they are then not expressed or not utilized as it is being utilized in the fight and flight mechanism. And trauma happens when you get frozen because of the threatening situation. मतलब मैं कुछ कर नहीं पाता हूं, मैं हेल्पलेस हूं, ना मैं भाग पाऊंगा, ना मैं वहां रह पाऊंगा. Are we together? ना मैं भाग पाऊंगा, nor I can run. I can neither run nor fight back, and I just freeze. You see, small children, they want to cry and they're slapped and they're saying, "Don't speak," and you're not supposed to cry also. Or they are thrown out of the house, saying you are not going to be taken in. And that small 2-year-old child or 3-year-old child feels, oh, it's death-like situation for me. Or the child gets lost in the market and cannot find the mother or father. It's like, oh God, it's like the whole survival is threatened. And that is what can be very traumatic. Now remember, the trauma can be different for different people. What is traumatic for one person may not be traumatic for another person. That depends upon the capacity of the person. I had learned it long time back that if you have the capacity to move, if you can move in a situation, trauma is lesser. That's why when I'm teaching moving stillness, we are learning how to move, and that's why the energy start moving. And a lot of people would say that, who have done the work, that there are a lot of symptoms started improving, right? And people who have been through this, yeah, that can happen. When people can lose interest in response to situations after being frozen, and that's exactly what is right. Now I think it makes sense. Yeah, because you're frozen, everything is frozen, and that's the third part of it. Trauma. Now remember one thing: trauma is a somatic experience. What do you mean by somatic? It's a bodily experience. So it has to be healed at the somatic level. Now what happens mostly? People have undergone trauma, but We are trying to heal it at the mind level. Like most of us are told, don't think about it. Oh, it happens. Move ahead. You have to think about something else. You are the responsible one. You have to take charge of everything. So don't think about it. Just put it behind. Forget. How do you forget it? You cannot just forget it like that, because the body feels it. You get irritated and you feel something in your body and someone says, oh, just relax, don't get irritated. But I am feeling the irritation. I am feeling the anger. I am feeling the hatred. I am feeling the sadness. I am feeling the fear. What do I do about it? There's no answer to that. And that is the beginning of a disease. So remember one thing, trauma is a somatic experience. Whatever you are having and feeling is a somatic experience. Do not negate it. Do not avoid it. Do not push it away. Experience it. And that is where the healing begins. So we have to heal things at the somatic level. Now, what happens, even with a lot of people who are coming to me with a lot of psychiatric or psychological ailments, lot of psychiatric and they have been given medicines so that you don't think about it. They say, okay, we just put to sleep. We are numb. But the body feels it still. Just because you're not thinking about it, you're numb to it, doesn't mean it. The machine is on. It's like the car, the vehicle, which is on a ramp. And the tires are floating up. And the engine is on. Now the car doesn't move ahead. The car doesn't move ahead, but the tires are moving in the same place. Get that? The engine wear and tear is happening. Just because you're pressing the accelerator, the car doesn't move ahead, doesn't mean that the car is not going to get degenerated or not going to have problems very soon. It is going to have a breakdown, but it is not moving ahead. And that's exactly what happens in trauma. Your engine is on at an overspeed, but the brake is also on. So the vehicle doesn't move ahead, but the breakdown happens. Hope this example is very clear to each one of you. And that is what happens in trauma. Trauma, when unhealed, leads to major stress, and the nervous system holds on to the trauma. And that is because it's on an overdrive. That degeneration is higher, and that is what leads to the disease. In trauma, the energy, we are all energy beings. And in trauma, what happens? We contract. That's why we lose interest. We're scared. We want to stay alone, or we want people around us. And all those things happen because the energy is contracted. And there is this formation of disease. But when you heal, you feel a sense of freedom, a sense of peace, a sense of joy, a sense of power. And that is what leads to health. Now, when trauma is affecting your mind and body, it affects at all levels: thought level, feeling level, breathing, sensations, bodily experiences, call it negative thinking or whatever you call it. And that is why, like when I was learning Tai Chi from my teacher, yeah, that was first time 1999, my teacher said a very beautiful thing. He said, Rajiv, it is difficult for anyone to go from the mind to the body. It is difficult to go from the mind to the body, but it's easier to go from the body to the mind. It is easier to go from the body to the mind because the body is more solid. You can hold it, you can feel it, but thoughts are fleeting. And that was the beginning of my whole journey in healing, the way I am today, practicing and training people. So my own story for you all, like This all started long time back when I was in some 2000. I was always getting very anxious, yeah, because of certain reasons. Was getting anxious, but after 2000, 2004, it just broke down. Like I just couldn't control it, and I would wake up crying at nights and feel very low, depressed, keep crying for 2, 3 hours every night, and I didn't have any understanding or knowledge how to get rid of it. And of course, I was not on to any medication thanks to that. Yeah, and but at the same time, what I would do is I would just sit down. I would wake up at 2:30, start crying. So by around 3:30, I would sit down, keep crying, and just observe what's happening in my body, what's happening in my mind. And I didn't know about what else to do. I would write down papers and I would write down notes to God saying, "What is happening? Please help me. I just don't know. I'm going crazy," and a lot of things. And this would happen night after night, and it happened for years. But one thing I noticed that whenever I sat down for some time, suddenly the whole thing would change and I would become very calm and peaceful. And this I would do at nights, and even in the daytime, I would sometimes just be quiet, observing the pain, and suddenly it would vanish. I would observe the suffering and it would vanish. And there was the beginning of this whole transformation, this whole understanding about how the body functions. And then, of course, I read a lot of books. I started understanding, I started practicing that with my clients. And then I noticed that when I did certain things, like there are times when people come to me and they are suffering from a lot of pain, insecurity, and fear. And I just have to go around them and I just put my hands on their shoulders. And suddenly within 2 minutes, they say, everything seems so perfect, as if we are feeling so safe and secure. And after that, everything fell in place. Everything just fell in place for that person. And this I started seeing with the most of my clients. A lot of changes happening for them. Yeah. And over a period of time, I started understanding what's happening. I started developing more and more, studying more, putting down the notes and seeing my clients from there. Like even today, every day I see this. And there are people who have been saying, like yesterday also I saw someone, I hope she's here, Indra is here. She will be talking about her experience of sciatica. Yesterday she came in and she's saying, Rajiv, I've never ever experienced a miraculous healing like this. I've done a lot of healing, but nothing like this, the experience. The same thing happened in the clinic. Someone who came to me and he's saying, I've gone through a lot of therapies, and someone who's traveling across the world and also a good sports star. And he said, but this I have never experienced. It just seems so perfect and so right and so calming. This kind of calmness and peace I have never experienced. And we just spent some 45 minutes on this. And with Indira, I think again it was 45 minutes of sciatica. So that is the kind of change that happens. Indira, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. So you'd like to share something, Indira, about
Yeah, sure, sir, sure.
Yeah, so maybe very quickly, if you can share. So Indira is a doctor by profession. She is a 73-year young, old, what do I say? She's energetic. Let me tell you, I know for some years. And she's been there for all my webinars, seminars, like even when I was doing face-to-face. So she's always energized and enthusiastic to learn. And she's an MBBS doctor and currently not practicing. Okay, please, Indira, you'd like to share something about what happened?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
A bit louder,
Yes.
Indira.
Yes. I came to sir for my icy cold legs and severe pain in the left knee. So it was unbearable. I felt like committing suicide. Such unbearable icy cold legs I had. So what I did, I took a session from you, and within 45 minutes, I don't know what happened. Some miracle has happened. Everything disappeared. can't tell you, sir. I was so grateful to you. I don't know what to do. I was in such a, what to say, कि इतनी मुझे तकलीफ थी, I can't tell you. But after taking session, everything disappeared. I was so happy, so happy. I really bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
How are you feeling, and how much did it reduce in that one session, David?
70 to 80%. No, I'm having 70 to 80% cure.
Cure. Okay.
On and off, I'm getting pain and coldness, but it is not so intense. It is very, very less. And it gets okay on its own.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
So this is the kind of change I have seen in people, is that it just seems to be, and this is, a lot of people have told me this, that it starts healing on its own. Even after the therapy, it starts changing on its own, as if the body is able to regulate the problem on its own, and that's where the healing happens. So many a times, like what I generally say, that the metaphor I use is like, it's like rolling down the big rock down the mountain. You just have to roll it down. You should just have to push it down the cliff, and rest of the rolling happens on its own. The same way the healing happens on its own. Yeah. So this is one of the things that is there. So remember, the natural state of the body is health and wholeness. Diseases are a way to tell you that you have moved away from the path of healthy living at some level, be it emotional, mental, physical, or spiritual. And it is telling you to return to path of healthy balance. And that is what happens when we are doing the somatic work, because the body just starts moving in the healthy direction. Now, core somatic integration, talking about this, core somatic integration is a body-centered therapy. Yeah, it's a body-oriented integrative therapy, and it's tapping into the innate healing potential by releasing the traumatic experiences. So I will be also sharing about certain people who have been healed. Yeah. So what makes core somatic integration so effective? What makes it so effective is the fact that we are moving the healing viewpoint from a Newtonian healing way to an Einsteinian healing method. Now, Newton and Einstein are the most the most well-known scientists. Yeah. And Newton has given us the three laws that we have learned in school. Yeah, action and reaction are equal and opposite. But what happens is that it's when we are practicing Newtonian way of healing, we are looking at that there is something stimulus outside, or there's a stimulus that triggers us off, and then we are reacting to it. So the power to trigger us off is outside us, and we are only reacting. And that is how maybe the allopathic system works, because they are trying to find the bacteria or the disease all the time, rather than looking at the whole person. And they're trying to kill that. They're saying, oh, kill the bacteria, everything will be okay. Do this, everything will be okay. Do that, everything will be okay. But that's not how it is, because you're still taking the medicines for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but the disease doesn't go off. But still, what happens is that it only exaggerates or aggravates more and more. You're taking one tablet today, you're taking 2 tablets tomorrow, and you're taking 3 the day after. And you continue adding. So actually, there is no healing happening over there. Nothing wrong about it, but that is how it is. But what happens in Einsteinian, let me show you. In Newtonian, there is an action, reaction are equal and opposite. There's a stimulus and you're reacting. So we have to find where the stimulus is, bacteria and all that. Or talking about the weather. But if it's the weather, then why is it that everyone doesn't get the disease? Then we talk about immunity. So if you're talking about immunity, the whole of COVID was all about raise your immunity. So when you're talking about immunity, you're talking about something inside. But there are people who have just have healthy immunity or high immunity, and they are safe from many diseases. People who are practicing, exercising, who are having a healthy lifestyle, definitely they are having good health. So we are looking at the person, not just the disease, or we are looking at the person having the disease, or rather than looking only at the disease. Einsteinian is, what is your contribution to the disease? What is your contribution to the problem? How are you reacting to the situation and disease? And thereby you are taking the power of healing, you're taking the power of change, you're taking the power of increasing or enhancing your immunity to in your own hands. And that is where the transformation occurs. So heal yourself, heal your disease. Or rather, I say, know yourself and you will start healing your disease. We are not paying attention to it. We are busy getting tests done. We are busy, and that is exactly how it is happening. All the hospitals, they're busy making you go for all the tests. And then in the end, they would say, oh, it is psychological. Oh, I'm not negating what they're doing, the extent and everything is well. But the thing is that what is important is how is the body reacting? How has the body created the disease in the first place? And why has it created the disease? That is what we got to learn. Rather than going after the disease, kill the disease, and then we have something else, and then you do surgery for that, then you have something else, and you keep doing surgeries, you keep taking medicine, and your life is gone, and you are saying, oh, but this is how it's supposed to be. No, it's a false notion that we are supposed to be sick, unhealthy, and to be on medications all the time. That's a wrong notion. You've been fed with that information right from childhood. And by 35, 40, you're a victim to all these diseases. We got to change, friends. Like I'll just share this certain cases. Like I had this person who came to me who was sent by another doctor who had cancer. I think he had, he had blood cancer. Yeah, that is a long time back, 5, 6 years back. And this person, and his reports, and he was just not able to walk. He was very tired, very weak. He had stopped practicing. He was a CA. He had stopped practicing. He would not go to his office, and this was going on for 2, 3 years. Then he was sent to me, and I started practicing the core somatic with him. He started understanding it very well. And it was within the 4th or 5th session, he drove 50 kilometers one way to his office and back again. That was 100 kilometers in a day. He drove on his own. And 4 months or 5 months later, he did a concert, a musical concert. He was not a musician, but he had left that playing that musical instrument almost 10, 15 years back. He started learning it again and practicing it again. And after 4 or 5 months, he did a 2 to 3 hour concert in Pune. And get that, practicing and doing a 3 hour concert is not a joke in front of an audience. And this is the kind of energy he was getting. And he said, doctor, I can tell you one thing, I will never ever go back to my practice, because that is what I didn't enjoy ever. I always wanted to play music. And this is what I'm saying, that automatically the mind knows where to go and it finds out. And that is why it's actually finding your life meaning, your life purpose. Your body and your mind knows it. But we don't go because we have been trained not to think like that. And that is exactly the body-centered therapy helps you do. It just doesn't heal you. It gives you much more than that. And that is what we are calling as the spiritual connect to it. And then remember, the body is seldom lacking ability to heal. The body knows how to heal itself. What is lacking in us is the way to communicate to the body such that it heals itself. What we are lacking is a way to connect to the body such that it heals itself. Now, we all are learning. Yeah, it's all The brain is rewiring itself all the time with new experiences, whatever new things that we take. And that is what is called as neuroplasticity. Yeah, this is all scientific names. So you are learning how to rewire your brain to be less anxious and less stressed. And once you learn that, your body is able to give up that negativity or that stressful experience. That is what happens in that 15 seconds or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, what Dr. Indira is talking about. And suddenly, the body's innate capacity to be relaxed, to be peaceful, because that is how we were born, that takes over and starts putting all the energies and the experiences in place. And this is what I've seen. Once the healing process starts, it continues. You start continuing to heal yourself. And this is the skill that you're learning when you learn the practices that I'm sharing.
Sorry, sir, can I ask a question?
Can we get can I have 5 minutes more? Then I'll take questions.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, write it down and then I'll take it. Okay. Now remember one thing. We are the conscious, or we are the unconscious creators of the disease. We are unconsciously creating diseases because of this childhood trauma, or something happened, or the negativity that we carry, or the pain and the hurt that we carry. We are unconsciously creating diseases. That's why we justify the disease also. We carry that prescription and say, this is what I am. You are not diabetic. You are not arthritic. You have arthritis. You have a disease whose name is arthritis, or the name of the disease is arthritis or diabetes. But we see ourselves as that, as if my name has changed from Rajiv to diabetic. That's not what I am, not at all. Yeah. So don't identify yourself with the disease. Change the way you look at it, and you will change the world within and around you. We start to heal when we start making the conscious, unconscious conscious. We got to be conscious of what's happening in the unconscious, and then you will see magic happening. You are taking charge. What is in the unconscious? The emotions and the memories. And how do you connect to them? You connect to them through in the form of symbols, images, and sensations. And this is what we are learning, how to connect to those, how to understand what is being said, what is being expressed, what is being thrown up, what is the body saying, what are you verbalizing, what is the non-verbal behind it. All those things are understood very, very well. And once you understand this, you become very mindful about how it works. And that is where the changes in your relationships starts. The relationship that you have with yourself, that is what changes. And thus the change happens outside, around in the relationship. Intimacy starts getting better because you are in love with yourself after this. Okay. So now rest of it is, how does it change? Through willingness, responsibility, and commitment. Yeah. Your body also displays an inner intelligence and or wisdom that supports your natural state of health. So I am talking about the cases now. So these are the people who had joined the workshop, and so I'm not talking about people who are like I'm seeing them in my clinic personally, but I'm talking about people in the workshops. And I'm doing this session right in front of almost 10-15 people. So, and this person, the top one, Swati, she had this pain in her neck for 3 years. And right in the beginning of the workshop, I just started working with her. I said, okay, let me talk, let us figure out what's happening. And as we started working, it was just 30 minutes. And she says, Raju, the pain has just vanished. It has never happened. I've done massages, I've done yoga, I've done almost everything that is possible for painkillers and everything. But 30 minutes, and I spoke to her sometime back, and that was almost 5-6 months after doing the workshop. And she's saying the pain has not come back. Shahnaz was another one who was there in the workshop. Yeah, she's abroad. She's not from here, she's from Africa. And it's all done on Zoom. Yeah, and not even talking about the personal sessions face to face. This was on Zoom in the workshop. And she was having this right elbow pain, severe pain, and she was like in tears. And she says, "Rajesh, somehow help me because I cannot handle this, because I cannot understand anything about what's happening in the workshop." And this took 20 minutes, and we actually work on certain issue at that point, because the pain is talking something. And when we connected to the pain and try to understand what it is, she immediately connected to what's happening in her life, in her relationship. And within 20 minutes, the whole pain, she said, "Rajiv, it's 90% better." Next day in the morning, the second day of the workshop, she's saying it's 100% better. I spoke to her after 4-5 months, and she's saying, "Rajiv, things are really bad, but this pain has not come up. It has come up sometimes 40%, 50%. It does come up. But I know, because things are really bad in this space, in the relationship area. So I can understand the pain, the anger, the hurt, and everything is coming up. But then, of course, yeah. So this is the kind, and we are talking about few months later, and the pain has not come back 100%. Yeah. And the same thing with another girl who was a psychologist. And she came to me when she had PCOD, and she said, "Rajiv, I'm just not interested in men. And I'm having this severe pain in the abdomen during periods, and you know how PCODs are, and all those things." And I started working with her, connected to the problem that she had, and we resolved that problem in one session. And the next session, she comes in and she says she had some issues with her mother, and she said that, "Rajiv, my issues with my mother seems to be resolving. I'm able to talk to her nicely. Earlier, I would be very angry with her." And once that was done, she's in the next session, she said, "Rajiv, I seem to be getting interested in a relationship. And there's someone who's coming to meet me. There's a proposal." In the fourth session, she comes in and she says, "Rajiv, I'm getting engaged to this guy." And 3-4 months later, I was at her wedding. Now she's got twins. The twins are almost 7 years old now. She's in the US. So this is the kind of changes when PCODs people have struggled with having children and all that, getting physically related to people and all to the spouse. But here it's a complete different story. Just 3-4 sessions, and there has been a huge change happening in the person. Yeah, and the same thing I talked about leukemia. There was someone who had endometriosis, and this also resolved big time. So that these are the kind of cases that are there. That is, remember, the body heals itself. The body heals itself. What we need to learn is to communicate to the body such that it heals itself. And post-somatic integration helps you to learn how to heal itself. And let me tell you, and these are the steps to heal any disease. All that we seek, the divinity inspires. And this is true for me, because this was happening. All these changes happened when, or I started understanding the whole process when I was deep in my meditation, that when things were not working for me. And the steps are acknowledging, tracking, witness sensing, supporting and moving, discharging and integrating. Right? So these are the steps that are there. I will be taking you through one of them. Core somatic integration is an integrative body-centered counseling and therapy. It is tapping into the innate healing potentials by releasing the stress and traumatic experiences. Okay. So some of the diseases that can be, I have seen cures happening, are migraines, headaches, back pain, ankylosing spondylitis, arthritis. A lot of people have put on the group, can this get treated? Can that get treated? So I'm just sharing this. Gastrointestinal, gastroesophageal reflux, GERD, IBS. IBS, I was suffering, so I have got cured. GERD, I had this doctor come to me who was suffering from GERD for 25 years. and we just needed 6 sessions or something, and the person is much better. Leukemia, cancers, menstrual problems, PCOS, endometriosis, behavioral problems, overcoming addictions. I have a lot of clients who have addictions, substance abuses, and pain disorders, OCDs, lot of them, obesity, relationship conflict, PTSDs, post-traumatic stress disorder, stress-related problems, depression, anxiety, OCDs, fears and phobias, trauma from death and loss, and many more. Right? So if there are any questions, you can ask. Okay, so I'll just share this so that we are just free of this. Now learn in 2 days how to have freedom from diseases without any harmful side effects of medicines. Learn how in 30 minutes you learn steps to transform diseases into natural health. And in 3 hours, the one simple methodology to have freedom from diseases without medicines with no side effects, to accelerate cures by 50% or more. Cures of psychological issues, major diseases, relationship breakdowns by 50% and more, and have effective results in the shortest time possible. Very, very useful for anyone and everyone for self-healing, but people who want to take it up to heal others, it's a wonderful tool. Develop personal mastery using self-awareness. It's a very high self-awareness tool. Hundreds of counselors, therapists, doctors, and psychologists across the world have integrated this modality in this practice. Yes. Yeah. I'll just share this with you, and then we can take up questions so that I can share the fees and everything with you. Yeah. So the dates are 9th and 10th October, Saturday and Sunday. It is the fees of the workshop is the real fees is rupees 14,000, but and after 4th October it is 9,500. But if you are paying up before that, 3rd October, the first 5 participants get it at 50% discount, 7,000 rupees. And let me tell you, it's the cheapest, because even if you're learning this abroad, a different kind of modality like this, anything up to 1.25 lakhs is the kind of fees that is being charged. Register by paying 500 on full, and this is my number 9820800120 9820800120. This is my GPay, PTA, Paytm number. You can also, there's also my WhatsApp numbers. You can ask questions on these queries. If you don't need to join, don't join. You can always ask queries, and you're not charged for it. Yeah, people stay along. Yeah, no charges even if you stay after this, because there's one small practice I'm going to do. Yeah, so friends, any questions? Ask questions.
Sir,
Mute everyone.
what's that?
The person who's asking the question. Sunila, who's asking? You are asking, or Manisha?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I was asking.
Yeah, Sunila.
You said the body is seldom lacking the healing process. You had put up a slide on that. But what are we lacking when the diseases start to come?
What are we lacking is to how do you communicate
Okay.
the body such that it heals? We don't know how to communicate to the body.
How to heal?
Yes.
So the communication, we are lacking the communication that we usually have with the body.
Yeah, and that communication is not the verbal communication or the affirmations we are talking about. I'm not talking about
Yeah,
that.
understood, sir. Understood.
This is much more deeper. So Sumit, yes, panic attacks and anxiety can be cured very well. In fact, 60% of my practice is anxiety and panic attacks. So every day I see at least 2 to 3 clients of anxiety and panic attacks. Yeah, friends, ask questions. Stay along because we'll touch upon a bit more.
So what about migraines?
Any kind of disease, I already told you. It was there on this.
Okay.
Yeah. Any pain. That is what even Indira shared about the sciatica. Is the workshop online or offline? Leo, yes, the workshop is online on Zoom. Timings 3 to 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. I'll be putting down everything on the group. Yeah. The timings is 7 to 8 p.m. So, sorry, 3 to 8 p.m. Any other questions, friends? Just feel free. Yeah, the charges are rupees 7,000. That is the early bird discount. Rupees 7,000. Does this help in healing hypothyroidism? Yes, if you can stay long enough, because you must be already on medication. So whenever you are on medication, it takes a slightly longer time, but definitely it can help. I am currently working with someone, at least quite a few people who are having severe incurable diseases. And today when I spoke to her, she says, Rajiv, it's almost 40% less. Yeah, it's completely incurable. You're talking about HS kind of disease. How much charges? It is rupees 7,000. Charges for one-to-one session. I will send me a message on my mobile. Yeah, I'll send you the charges also. 98208 00120. 98208 00120. Yeah, you can open up your mics and start asking. I am on medication for anxiety and panic attacks. Is that fine? It's perfectly okay. We are also looking at how you can reduce them to the bare minimum or stop it, Sumit. Because most of my clients are able to bring it down to the bare minimum, or they are able to stop it. Yeah, friends, any questions?
Hi, Rajiv.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Good. Yeah, good to see you after long time.
Yes, very good to see you too, dear.
I wanted to ask that I have some abdominal pain from about 3-4 months, and doctor says it may be hernia. And and I also have back pain due to spondylitis. So I wanted to talk about that with you.
That can be worked upon, both spondylitis also. Like today also I was working with a doctor who was having spondylitis, and she said the pain is much lesser than before. Last session we did the work, and today she said the 2 weeks back we worked on it, and today she's saying, Rajiv, it's almost 60% better.
So, and about hernia, if it is not diagnosed yet, but it is most probably hernia.
Yeah, if it's not diagnosed, then we have to wait. But the thing is that when the muscles get healthier and you do some lifestyle changes, maybe a lot of things can resolve on its own, even the hernia. Unless it's hanging and it's completely not able to go back. Yeah, but we can, I think we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I call you afterwards?
Yeah. What's up, Nilanshu? Yeah, you can call me here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Enough to be curable. So Sumit, it is depending upon each person. Sometimes I said, sometimes it gets okay in 1 or 2 sessions. Sometimes it takes longer. It depends upon the person. Yeah, we have anxiety cases which get okay in 1 session, but then it depends upon person. Yeah, I am diabetic and still on medication. Okay, Kaila. Please don't mute whoever it is. Rupali, on mute. Yeah. Any other questions? Scarring alopecia is curable. Scarring alopecia. Okay. We'll have to figure out. Yeah. Very honestly, depends upon each person to person. Yeah. KR. You'll have to unmute yourself, KR. Unmute yourself, KR. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Doctor, I am Hina Rohra. I am Dr. Indira's sister-in-law.
Tina?
I'm Hina Rohra. I'm Dr. Indira's sister-in-law.
Okay. Go ahead.
He just told me, so I just came.
Good.
And I want to talk to you about some problem which is like unbelievable. Like it's from the last 40 years, I'm suffering from migraines.
Yeah.
And I have done each and every possible thing. You just name it, and I've done one more than that.
Yeah.
The thing is, now I've done so much and nothing has helped me. So I don't have that confidence or that trust, or it's difficult for me to. I mean, I'm almost given up. Like I thought I'll never do anything again, and I just surrendered to whatever it is.
Yeah.
But Indira told me I am here.
Yeah. What's your name, you said?
Hina.
Hina. See, Hina, let me tell you, since you're saying I cannot trust anyone and I have no hope, there's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose for you. Are you getting me? Just go ahead. And when generally we say, I've done everything. I always tell people, we cannot do everything. There's one more thing that is still supposed to be done.
Sure.
Yeah. In life, that is how it is. Because everything cannot get done. So try it if you think. And what I have known from my practice and my experience, that most of the people, when they are hopeless and helpless and they think that nothing is working, this has helped them. Yeah, this is what I can tell you. I cannot tell you that it will work for you. I cannot, because I don't know you, but it has worked for people, like the way it worked for Indira.
Yeah, because the thing is, whenever I do anything new, I get very excited and I get, I trust it. But then, when it doesn't happen, so I get dejected. And it's happened since last 40 years. So
Yeah,
that's
long time. But then still it can be healed.
Sure.
I can assure you that from my own experience. I can assure you that from people who have gone through the issues and they have said that it's just transformed their life. I can tell you that.
Sorry? Okay.
Okay. So send me a WhatsApp or call me up. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Thanks.
Yes. And Kailash, you talked about the suffering from insomnia, anxiety, depression, negative thoughts. Yeah. Perfectly okay. That can be healed, just in case you're looking at that. That's your question. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So very quickly going through, I hope everyone is here. Thank you, Smita. Okay, so just close your eyes for a moment, everyone. We'll just go through a quick session. Since I promised you. Just close your eyes for a moment. Just pay attention to your breath. And take up any issue that you wish to deal with. And now notice what are the changes happening in your breathing. And notice the changes happening in your, what are the body sensations that you experience? Notice whatever be those body sensations, some tightness, some stiffness, anywhere in the body, some reeling in the head, some sweating, some taste in the mouth, whatever it be, just observe it. Do not analyze. This is the process where we start acknowledging what is there. And just observe where all these sensations travel. Do not analyze. Yeah, tight stomach, Sumit. Yes, that is also a sign of anxiety. And keep observing. Just breathe in deep and breathe out. And just imagine you're breathing into that sensation now. I'm not taking you through the whole process because that can take any amount of time. But just keep breathing in and out into that issue or that sensation. Just breathe as if you're breathing into that problem. Yeah. Now breathe in deep and breathe out. Stretch yourself, move yourself, and then open your eyes. Yeah, stretch. You can put on your videos, and just in case you want to talk to me, share your views, share your understanding, you can do that. Or any queries, please ask. Yeah. How are you feeling? What's happening? And as I said, I'm not taking you through the whole process. We have just done it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Yeah, so I'm not saying that a lot of things will change, but this is the beginning of the process, and then we take it up from here. Okay, I feel totally relaxed and calm. Thanks, Smita. Anyone else wants to share? You can open up your videos, or you can just put it on the group, on the chat.
Yeah. I just felt a little lighter, relaxed,
Yeah.
and some discomfort which was there. It like disappeared.
Yeah.
It got less.
Yes. Yeah. Nilanshu. And this is how it begins. Yeah. In short time, it just vanishes. And like we have Indira talking about how the sciatica pain, the coldness just vanished in half an hour, 40 minutes. And there was nothing much done to her. Because it was online, she just observed it and we started working upon it and then dealt with something. Yeah, Nilanshu, thanks. Anyone else?
I felt heaviness at the back.
Yes. Good. How is it now?
Shoulders.
Is it less? It is
Yes,
less.
yes, very less.
Very good.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Anyone else who wants to share? Pala, Tejal, Fatima, Naina. I was burping. Yes, Sumit. Burping is called the discharge. In that 4, 5, 6 steps, the second last one is discharge. So burping is a discharge. That is happening. That means the healing is getting on. Burping, puking, sweating, passing gas, tingling. These are all discharges. Yeah. anyone wants to ask a question or?
I want to share, doctor.
Yeah, go ahead, Tejal.
Yeah, so it's almost, I think, 8 years or something I must have learned this, and there's not a single day which goes without me using this
Thank
for
you.
anything that I have in my life. And if any client come in, I mean, this is something which has always been with me, and I thank you so much for it.
Thank you, Tejal.
You are remembered every day.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Tejal. Long association both ways.
Yes.
With the therapy also and with the me also. Thank you. Thanks, Angel. Anyone else wants to ask?
So during the long session that we have on the 9th and 10th, will there be a break in between?
Yeah.
Sorry to ask such a stupid question.
You have break. It's typically like a workshop.
Okay, thank you.
Typically like, and mostly people would not, after some time, they don't even want a break because it goes on so, it's so exciting and so interesting that.
No, I understand, sir, but there is a crisis.
You got to have a bio break. That's why we take a break. Otherwise, I think we can just go on and on. That's okay.
I understand, sir. Actually, there's a crisis at home. My full-time maid is positive. Okay. So I have to keep doing little bits in between.
Oh, that is perfect.
That's all.
You'll get the process anyway.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Great. So friends, if there is anything, please put it on the group or send me a personal WhatsApp message 9820800120. People who want to join in, this is the GPay and the Paytm number. You can pay by initial payment of 500 to 1,000 bucks, and rest you can pay later. Register yourself, get the benefit of the early bird discount. Okay, friends. And if there's any query, you can always put it on the group or a personal message. I will respond to it. Yeah. So thanks everyone. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks Arun. Thanks Pala. Yes, Leo.
Yeah. Thanks Raju.
Hey, Nilanshu. Bye. Thanks, Tejas.
Thank you, Doc.
Hey, thank you.
It was good to see you after long.
Hey, Lina.
How are you?
Very good, very good. Thanks, Rosina.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, dear. Thane chairman. And Rajni, thanks. Vanessa, thanks. Sumit, thanks. Hey, Bhavya, thank you for attending. Varsha, thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Hey, Indra. Thanks a lot, dear. Thanks.
Thanks, Lord.
Kailash, thank you very much. Naina, hope you enjoyed. Bye, everyone.
Good night, doctor.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Madhusmita, Kumali, Mary, Janet, Kunjan, Anora, Kavita, Soumya, Vrinda. Chalo, bye, Smita. Bye, dear.
Doctor, so nice to see you. And I really get rejuvenated once again. And thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, dear. Chalo, bye.